Okay, so in this video we'll be looking at Gary Harris and his steep downfall over the past 2 seasons. And what is his future, whether it's in Denver, another team, or what's his future in the NBA at all? Before we start, please like and subscribe. Also, by no means am I saying Gary Harris doesn't deserve a spot on an NBA roster. I think if you thrust him into a 6th or 7th man role, he could kind of be like Jordan Clarkson, that he comes in, scores some decent points, and is a spark plug off the bench. But anyway, let's go. In the 2018 season, Gary Harris was an incredible player. He averaged 17.5 points per game, 2 steals, but what I liked most was his shooting efficiency. He shot 49% from the field and 39% from 3 for about 6 attempts per game, which is a large number for that efficiency. Something else is that the next year, people, including me, thought he was going to emerge as an all-star and even average 20-plus points per game. But honestly, the opposite thing happened. He only averaged 13 points and only shot 42% from the field and 34% from 3 on just under 2 less attempts per game. That's really surprising considering what the expectations were for him. And this year, the 2019 to 2020 season, he's only averaging 10 points a game, shooting 33% from 3 on under 4 attempts a game, and his field goal percentage is only 42%. Now, this is pretty surprising, considering that a few years ago, he was really in all-star contention, and we thought he could be a perennial all-star player. But there are a few things that affect why his play has gone down. First thing I want to look at is the team around him, specifically Nicolo Okage and his emergence. If we look at the touches, in the 2018 season, Nicolo Okage had 86.2 touches, which was one of the highest in the league. And this isn't surprising considering we know Jokic to be an offensive initiator, even though he's at the center position. And this was the year that Gary Harris averaged about 18 points per game. In the following season, which was last year, when Gary Harris only averaged around 13 points, Nicolo Okic's touches skyrocketed to first in the league with a 93.5. And in this season, when Nicolo Okage has the most touches yet, which is a 97.6, which is first in the league, Gary Harris's production has gone down again. Something else is Nicolo Okic's usage rate. In the season that Gary Harris averaged 17.5 points, which if you're wondering is the 2018 season, Jokic's usage rate was 24%. Last year, when the first drop-off started, his usage rate went up to 27.4, and this year his usage rate is at 26.6. Both of the years when Gary Harris's production has gone down, Nicolo Okic's touches and usage rate has gone up. Now, this isn't to say Jokic is a bad player or a bad offensive initiator. It's actually the opposite. It's saying that Gary Harris is a player that thrives more off of his own shot creating than others creating shots for him. Now, there's one more stat which I want to show that really further proves this statement. On Basketball Reference, you can look at a player's shooting and how their shot chart has been affected based on many different stats, whether it's assists or other things that may cause their efficiency and volume to go up or down. Let's look at this year. This year, when he shot at the rim, 70% of his shots were assisted, and he shot 65%. Remember, 70% were assisted and 65%, and this is this year. In the 2018 season, only 60% of his shots were assisted, and he shot 72%. Notice how when the assist amount goes up, his efficiency goes down. Here, let's look at another distance. Let's look at 10 to 16 feet. In this current season, 100% of his shots from 10 to 16 feet were assisted, and he shot 29%, which is really not good. In the 2018 season, from that same distance, which is 10 to 16 feet, only 59% were assisted, and guess what? He shot 47%. I think what most shows this is the three-point range. In this current season, 90% of his threes are assisted, and he's making 33% of them. But in the 2018 season, 89% were assisted, Now, on the surface, you're saying, wow, 1%, it doesn't really make much of a difference. But in that season, where 1% less of his threes were assisted, he shot 6% better, which just shows that really he needs to have the ball in his hands to be an efficient and great scorer. I'm not saying he can't play off ball, but he thrives the most when he has the ball in his hands. Now, it's kind of weird, considering Jokic did still have the ball in his hands a lot. But his backcourt pairing, Jamal Murray, doesn't have the ball in his hands, so it makes sense that he could thrive so well in the 2018 season, even having a player like Jokic. Jamal Murray plays off of Jokic very well, meaning he takes threes, layups, and they're most assisted, which is interesting, showing that Gary Harris and Jamal Murray are not that similar of players. So does that mean they can coexist in the backcourt? Well, I'm not sure, because if you're fighting between Murray and Harris, you're obviously going to take Jamal Murray. He's younger, and he can thrive off of Jokic. And it's no question that you choose Nicolo Okage, the All-NBA team player, two-time All-Star, over Gary Harris, who's not a bad player, but he hasn't yet achieved those goals. So I think Gary Harris should stay in Denver and examine his role there, see if he maybe can play off ball, and try to adjust his game to be better at catch and shoot threes, or coming off of screens for layups, dunks, and mid-range shots. But if it still isn't working, maybe he should take his talents elsewhere. It wouldn't be that easy to trade him, because he doesn't have the best value, and he's making under $18 million a year, just under. So I think he should really wait in Denver, and see if his role can change. Also, Denver will definitely be a title contender the next few years. In conclusion, Gary Harris is a great player, but I see his role as being a 6th or 7th man off the bench that can provide some good scoring, shot creating. Thank you for watching.